So today, doing a Q&A, we are still celebrating 7 years with our cleaning business. So this is, we said we're going to go live the entire week, and that's what we do. We don't miss a day during our Thanksgiving celebration week, which is the week that we launched our cleaning business back in 2017. So it's still a celebration, y'all. It's still a celebration. What's going on? So it's going to be a Q&A. We've been gathering some questions just from Instagram, YouTube, DMs, and we're going to go through some questions mainly about Cleaning Business University, the cleaning business journey, and anything else you guys have as they come up. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. What time y'all starting your meals? I'm a little hungry. It's noon over here. Probably not starting eating till about 3 o'clock. So I am starving right now. What time y'all starting your meals? Let me know. Because I am a little hungry, but listen, it's still early in the day, so I figured we would keep we still keep the celebration going. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And if you guys don't know, our Black Friday discount on Cleaning Business University is still happening. So by the time you see this tomorrow, the price will have went up for the official Black Friday discount. So it's like the pre-Black Friday stuff. So what's going on? Let me see. So we got a couple questions that we outlined, and if you guys got any questions, 3 o'clock, I feel you. Is that Eastern or Central? And you guys got any questions as we go along, definitely let me know. So one of the questions that we got, I'll start with, was, what are the normal startup costs for your business? So I'll put that in the chat, and we'll start there. All right, cool. So I'll start with that question. And that one is fairly common. People normally ask, how much did it take you guys to actually launch your cleaning business? So we launched our cleaning business 2017 this week. So this is why we've been going live every day of the week, just to kind of celebrate. It's an online cleaning business. So the only way we celebrate it is essentially online. So we've done almost $3 million in the cleaning business. We've done over 10,000 cleanings. And we normally like to celebrate every year that we're still around in business. So this is year 7 for us in celebration. So what are the normal startup costs for your business? So a couple of things that we talk about are like your LLC. That's obvious, right? Some people skip that step. Some people are like, listen, you don't need an LLC to start a business, and I don't disagree with you. But the way we tell our students is just to make sure you have the foundation pieces in order before you launch. So the first thing is going to be like something like an LLC. And normally it comes up to about under $1,500 for everything. And everything includes like the LLC. It might include something like your website. What else would you consider a startup cost? It might include your domain purchase, right? So you actually buying a domain from GoDaddy would be an example of that. 1 second. Yeah, how quick. What else would that be an example of? So domain, website, LLC. You might have your, what would it be called? Hey, you done already? Oh, okay. So it might be your CRM. Your CRM would be another example, but you want to have a place where you store your data, a way that you market to your clients. Those might be some things you want to start with. And that's not the $1,500. And then we will always say save for marketing. So these are expenses that normally come up, but they don't happen like day one. So normally we recommend like having like $1,500 like set aside for your business. We will not have anyone start a business on their last dime. It is very rare someone starts a business on their last dime and they come out on the other side of it. Because if you're starting a business on your last dime, you're probably coming out of that. What up, Jazz? Happy Thanksgiving. You were in a turkey trot today? Actually, what time would it be over here? 10? Probably ran it already. So we would never tell anyone to start a business on your last dime because you'd be fighting with your back against the wall. And it would be extremely hard to run a business that way. So we never recommend you start a business like you're like, I have nothing and I'm going to start a business. We're like, no, don't do it. We rather you pick up another job, work a 9 to 5, things like that, but don't start a business on your last dime because you're going to be struggling to run that business. You're going to be struggling with your personal finances. You're going to be struggling with your life finances. You're going to give up. Then eventually there's something's gonna hit the brick wall, and you're not gonna have anything to cover that expense. So we normally say $1,500. I'll be right back.
Okay. Where did you start off?
First question. I was going to do some background on Thanksgiving stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm joining late because I was putting down Alani, but I think Anthony started with, or somebody asked the question of the normal startup cost for the business, and he just went over that, $1,500, maybe to $2,000, but it's not spent all in one shot. This session we're doing, because we've been live all week, is Q&A. So now is the time to ask any questions that you have about the business, and we'll be sure to answer it. Right now, our Black Friday sale is going on, and it will be ending soon, and that the price will be going up. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and purchase at cleaningbusinessuniversity.com/learn. Make sure to hop in. As soon as you purchase, you will get the course. Any other questions you have, just drop it in the chat for YouTube and for Instagram.
You move me over?
Yeah, I had to, so I could be seen in Instagram.
Oh.
I wasn't in Instagram.
Okay. How are we going to do that?
It's fine. I don't need to be fully in. They can hear me. Okay, yeah, this is better. So if, like I said, if you have any questions, just drop it and we'll be sure to answer that. Another one that we get or we've gotten is, can it work in my area of competition is high? We touched a little bit on this earlier this week, but competition is not high. I'm going to be very clear with you. You may find different cleaning businesses in your area, but are they doing the thing you're doing? And if they are, it may only be like 2 compared to 5 or 6, right? At the end of the day, there's more people than there are cleaning businesses. So you can still stand out with whatever you do, with your marketing, with your response time, with your customer service, with people being able to book you online. So competition is not something that we worry about when it comes to the cleaning business specifically. Somebody said, I have the LLC, the bank account, getting started and finding cleaners and contractors, and where I keep getting overwhelmed. I love y'all, by the way. Oh, thank you very much. In regards to getting overwhelmed, are you going through the course? Will be my first question for you. Because we do break it down so that it's not so overwhelming. Now, I know sometimes people say, I've never interviewed before, and that can be an overwhelming part of it. Or, we speak about where to post a job ad. We give you the exact job ad to post. We give you the interview questions. So we help you to not feel so overwhelmed when it comes to doing those things in regards to looking for cleaners. Also, the biggest thing when it comes to cleaners is that's generally the hardest or most time-consuming part of the business, finding good people, okay? I mean, if any business, you look at where you work, places that you go, finding good people to do the job is probably the most difficult part of it. But definitely following the steps in the course can help you to not feel so overwhelmed. Usually when we feel overwhelmed,
Usually when people feel overwhelmed, that means they have a plethora of options to choose from. That's what overwhelming is. That means you have so many options to choose from, you don't know which way to go. You don't know which way to choose. So that's what that truly means. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. People think that being overwhelmed is a down thing, but it's really not. It means that you have so many options to choose from, you don't know which way to go. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, or in your situation, if you're already in a community, I would probably join one of the live coaching calls we do, and then just state where you are. Because when we do our live coaching calls, we ask students exactly where you are and what's your biggest challenge right now, what's your biggest constraint. So if you're saying my challenge right now is getting started and finding cleaners and contractors, right now you're doing too many things. You're getting started, you're finding cleaners and contracts. We don't normally say find cleaners and then also try to find business at the same time and try to start your business. So there's something there that you need to focus on and then take it step by step. So if getting started means finding cleaners, that's gonna be the first thing you're gonna be focusing on. Focus on finding the right person and then focus on finding the right clients so that you can now feel less overwhelmed, because that's really what's going on. You got too many options. And I always think of it as, is that your excuse or your reason? Absolutely. Absolutely. People always say, oh, I got this going on, or I got kids, or I got a wife, or I got a husband. And it's like, okay, is that your excuse or your reason? And you got to make that decision in your business. We start throwing a lot of these things out there. And it's like, I had a lady tell me, like, I'm a single mom. And I was like, you want me to feel bad for you? And I wasn't trying to be an a-hole, but it was just like, are you telling me that because that's your excuse why you can't do something, or are you telling me that because that's the reason why you want to do something? That's what's going to make you keep going. That's what's going to make you get out of this hole. That's what's going to make you proceed forward. Or you're saying that because you want me to sit there and you're like, well, single mom can't do it, because I know that's not the case. We got tons of single moms in our program. We got tons of single dads. We got tons of single people who just don't have kids, right? So
Tons of single dads. There's not many of them in the world.
I don't want to say tons of single dads. I'll just say tons of single people.
Yeah. Another FAQ that we get if you're just joining, we're doing Q&A for Kingdom Business University. Another question that we get all the time is, how will I get customers and market well? To me, that is not your biggest concern. Like I said, there's more people in the world than cleaning businesses, right? So marketing can be real simple. You can find a client pretty quickly compared to you finding a contractor. We always tell our story that we went live on Black Friday and we got our first customer we went live on Thanksgiving and got our first customer on Black Friday, right? So in the course, we speak about free and paid ways to get customers. Keep in mind, anything that's free is going to be a bit more time consuming, but you can do it. It just probably be a slower race. But finding customers is, we're talking about Thumbtack, Yelp, GLS, Angie's List, mailing them, going on the radio, all these there's multiple different ways that you can find customers. However, you make that decision if you want to do the paid or free way to get your customers.
So another example of that was one of my close friends. He launched his cleaning business, and the way that he got his first customer, he launched his cleaning business. He went through the LLC, he went through the website. He got that done in probably like, I want to say 3 days max or something. He's like, website, LLC, ready to launch, ready to get my first client, right? And there was no overwhelm. He was like, I'm going to do this, right? So he wrote it down. And the way he got his first client was he told his lawn guy about this cleaning service that he was launching. And his lawn guy was like, oh, I got a lady who I was just telling the cleaning about. So to a client about a potential cleaning. And she's like, oh, he's like, I can just connect you with her. And he got his first client in like 5 days or something like that. And there wasn't anything fancy. And stuff like that we're not going to tell you to do that. We're not going to tell you to talk to people about your cleaning business, right? We're not going to tell you to tell your neighbor or your lawn guy about that. He was just like, yo, I got a lawn guy. We're always talking about business. I told him I'm launching a cleaning business. He said one of his clients was talking about a cleaning service. I'll put you in with her, and he connected him. And he got his first client that way. And that was like a $500 client. And then he got him like the second client. It was like $1,200 total in like less than a week and a half or something like that of launching his business. Like from getting the course to getting his first 2 clients in like 2 weeks, $1,200. But those are things that we're talking about when it comes to like getting your customers when you start. We're not going to sit there and tell you, oh, you know what? Go to your neighbor, go say this. Go to your lawn guy, go say this, right? But we do talk about free ways of marketing your business. So there's a ton of paid marketing ways, but the free ones is going to be the ones that kind of move the needle fast if you do have some relationships.
Yep. Let me see. Once again, if you're joining us, you can drop questions if you have questions about Cleaning Business University. If not, that means that you have purchased already. You are in our community. You are ready to roll. You're getting your business started by 2025 if you have no questions. But if you're interested, we currently have our Cleaning Business University on sale. The lowest that it will be, price will be going up. cleaningbusinessuniversity.com/learn is where you can access that. Or if you're on Instagram, just type the word BF and you will get access to the sales page where you can jump right in. Looking at other questions that we've received and continue to receive, let's see. The toughest part about starting a cleaning business, I think the toughest part about starting any business can be mindset. That's one part. And then I just recently mentioned finding good people. So mindset is important because many of our students, as well as us, this was our first cleaning business. We don't really have, this is our first business. We didn't really have any training, if you will, on business. So that mindset behind marketing, that mindset behind spending money, that mindset behind what works and doesn't work, giving up, and what business should look like, because we don't just know that automatically, right? Many of us don't. Some of us may, but we don't just really know that. So mindset, I would say, would be the hardest thing. And then finding the good people.
Yeah.
even if you do contractors, even if you do employees, wherever you are, I always say, like, look at your coworkers, no shade to them. But I'm sure there's some people that you look at it like, how did they even get this job, or how are they even here? So finding good people, mindset around entrepreneurship, mindset around starting a business, I would say is the hardest part about this process. Anything else you would add to that?
Yeah. If you
Anything else you add to that? Yeah, silence.
I saw this quote and they said, however hard you think, however level of hard you think is going to be when you start, times it by 10. They said times it by 10, so that now you can set the expectation that it wasn't as hard as you thought it was. No, it wasn't as hard as you thought it was going to be, but it was harder than you thought it was. So you kind of said, let's say you thought it was a 1, and you say, actually, you know what? I'm going to think everything's going to be times 10, and whatever you start, whatever business you start. And now you're thinking, okay, this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And then you realize, oh, it's really like a 6. So that your expectations can be set, accordingly. Because you see it all the time, and it's like, oh, I thought I was going to come in and make and build $1 million business.
Well, the number we always hear is either 100K in a year or 10K per month. That's usually what people come in saying that they exactly want to do.
So yeah. I was having a conversation with someone. They was like, yeah, I thought this is going to be easier. And it was like, well, you thought you were going to build $1 million business and it's going to be easy. Have you ever done it before?
Have you ever even had a business before?
We went down the line. I was like, have you ever done it before? They was like, oh, no. I was like, what's the hardest thing you've ever done? And they probably raise a family. I was like, that's very hard. Have you done that before? You raised a family for the first time? Like, no. I said, so what made you think you're going to come in here and do something you've never done before? To the most business owners don't even make $1 million. You're going to be one of the 10% of businesses that do, and this is only like the first couple months, first couple weeks, right? So, but if you think about it, this is going to be probably one of the hardest things you do. Then you could kind of set your expectations accordingly. You're like, well, I went over this issue; it wasn't that hard, right? So, that would be a good example of the way that you could kind of phrase some of these questions to yourself.
We got another question. Sorry, I'm checking.
You're good. So starting off, how did you establish how much time you give the business while you were both full time? Also, how much would you start now since you do have children time wise? Great question. So, go ahead.
Oh no. Starting off, how did you establish how much time? So we didn't really say. I don't know if we said in like, okay, we're gonna spend this amount of time. We set goals. We set it up like we want to get this rolling within 4 weeks. So what amount of time do we have to dedicate to get that done, right? So this week we're focusing on this. We're focused on the business entity, receiving that, the business bank account. Like that's what we're focused on. Next week we're focusing on the brand of it, the logo, the name, whatever, that type of stuff. So we broke it down within 4 weeks, and that's how we did it. Now there is 2 of us, right, compared to 1 person. So we were able to balance it that way of giving each other different tasks. That was one part of it.
But then we also didn't have the tools that we have today.
That's another part.
So we didn't have the automation, we didn't have the AI, we didn't have the
people,
we didn't have the coaches, we didn't have any of that. So yes, there was 2 of us, but we had probably a fraction of the resources that our students have now.
We were winging it. And then it says, how would you start now since we do have children time-wise? I can't speak on something that I've never done, right? But I think we spoke on time management this week, and I just spoke about, it's like, how bad do you really want something? You're going to have to make some sacrifices. So if the children get up, let's give an example, at 7, can you get up at 5:30 or at 6 to do what you need to do for the business, to exercise, to whatever it may be? If they go down by 7, 8 o'clock, can you spend the next 2 hours after that doing what you have to do? Can you do something during lunchtime to move the needle? So the weekends, what does that look like? Can you spend more time on the weekends to get your business up and running? So that's what I would do time-wise if the children were in the way, if you will. That's what I would do at this point.
But even let's say we both did work 9 to 5s, we still work. Like we're working right now.
Yeah.
Right? So both of our kids are asleep right now. We're technically working right now. And then think about like during the week, if we wanted to go to the gym or, do whatever. We have to do that before the kids wake up.
But then also the biggest thing is I just haven't been at a 9 to 5 for 3 months. So this is all very new for us in regards to both of us not being at a 9 to 5. Anthony, it's going to be 3 years in December that he's been gone from his job, but I have been working my 9 to 5 straight up until 3 months ago. So this is all new, and we were doing it in lunches is when I would like jump in and do certain things, and after work, not before work much, but after work is when I would do some of the stuff with the business. So it's all possible, obviously depending on the job you have and things like that, but it's all possible. And how bad do you want this thing to work? How important it is for you.
And then also after business hours, right? So if you really sit down and audit your time, you can use an app called Timely, and you can audit how much time you're putting into your job, not your job, your side hustle or your business. And you can see, oh, I'm really wasting time. I'm really not putting that much time in. You sit down and really open the app. When I did it for like a week and a half or so, and I had to go in, and every time I did a task, I would open up the app and hit start, and it would show me, okay, this is really a 5-minute task. You was dragging out for an hour, and you put all those little 2-minute, 3-minute increments in. You dragged out a whole hour to complete this 5-minute task that it took.
And if you think about it, if you're able to binge a show on Netflix or any of these platforms, you're able to start a business. All shade. All shade, because I definitely binge. I definitely watch Housewives. I definitely watch all these things. But I'm knowing that I'm taking away from whatever I want to do if I'm working towards something. So a lot of times people do have the time, but like you said, are you able to audit and see where your time is going, where your time is being spent? That's important. What did we just? Oh, sorry, we answered that question there. If you have questions, drop it in YouTube, drop it on Instagram, and we are answering questions about Cleaning Business University, about our course. Not sure what that means.
What do you mean?
What other questions do people have? I think that it's important to know, at the end of the day, this is a business. It's a low-cost startup business, but it is a business. And I know Anthony started with this before I jumped in about about needing money. Did you go into detail about that?
We spoke about that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Remember, I was late.
Okay. So how do you vet people enough to avoid stealing your clients? That's a question that comes up pretty often. So our hiring process is literally, you have to click it down here.
Oh, okay.
So our hiring process is, number one, your job ad is just one portion of your hiring process. You got to know what you're looking for and how to deter people away would be number two. So what you want, but then you want people to see it and be like, oh, this job, I don't really want this job. You want people to feel like, oh, I can't get this job, right? So that's the job ad. It's the hiring. And then also, once they apply to your job, you got to make sure they're qualified to be on the phone with you. So then we have a phone screener. And then we get on the phone with them with actual questions. And then after we get off the phone with them, we feel like they're a good fit. They might go to what we call the first job, right? And then that's normally a quote unquote, just see how this goes type of job. And then from there, we decide if we want to work with them or not. So it's not just you find people off the street and then you're like, all right, I'm going to work with them. No, they have to go through a full hiring process. We do a background check. We make sure they got insurance. We make sure they got supplies, make sure they got the car, all of that stuff. And then we actually start forming that relationship. So we're not going to give you the keys to the castle and you're a day one cleaner. Absolutely not. So we make sure that we trust you, you trust us. You're going to make sure that you get paid on time. You like the workflow, you're comfortable with this stuff. And then also we're going to make sure that vice versa, we trust you. You are who you say you are. You know how to do the job. You're not only just qualified to clean, but do you have common sense? That's a big one that people miss out on. Like, oh, I got a cleaner, but every time something happens, they got to call me. Like, what type of experience do they have where they're doing this on their own? If they were working for themselves, who are they calling? So we want to make sure that we're going through this process and getting the right people in place as well. Appreciate you, man.
What other questions do you guys have? Any questions that's holding you back from getting Cleaning Business University? It is the most discounted it will be all year. Make sure that you tap in, join the community, introduce yourself if you are in there. What other questions do you guys have?
How do you learn about business? So about the business or about business in general. I think you kind of learn about business as you do it. That's one of the things that you have to experience. You don't learn about business. I got a business management degree, and I couldn't tell you anything I learned from business management classes. I got those business books back there from college that I paid hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of dollars for. College was thousands of dollars, and I don't got any of my college books back there, right? Because I didn't learn business by going through business management classes, BM, Business Management 101, 202, 400, and computer science and all that stuff. I didn't learn about business there. They just teach you the principles of business, I guess, but you have to learn it by doing. Business is one of those touch sports that you have to be in. You have to learn it. You have to go through. You have to experience it. You have to find out what works, what doesn't work. Not just something you can sit back in the classroom and learn. You have to go through it yourself.
Definitely a lot of testing, especially with the service-based business. Testing in your area is so important as well. Because what we do in Dallas or what somebody does in New York or California is going to be different from Alabama. I promise you that. Or North Carolina, like it's going to be different. Cost is different. Different clientele. So testing is just as important as well when it comes to learning about the business and being comfortable of knowing that not everything is going to work out. Not everything is going to be that you're making money. You are going to lose money in business. But you know, how much you lose, how fast it happens, when you learn from that is all important when it comes to business. Make sure you are dropping your questions on YouTube or Instagram. We are answering questions about Cleveland Business University. Looking at some of the FAQs that we've gotten over years, the same questions that people ask over and over, we're kind of answering that now. We spoke about cost, we spoke about competition, we spoke about customers, contractors, time management when it comes to the business, what we've learned.
We've been doing this for 7 years, y'all. We've been going live now for
maybe 7 years.
No, I'm 12.
Oh, this week? Oh, okay.
We've been going live for 7 years, of course.
7 years.
I don't think Instagram had the feature live. Money was
maybe
good.
Maybe not. Yeah, we've been live all week, kind of celebrating our anniversary because we still do have our cleaning business down here in Dallas, Texas, as well as teach it to students, right? So we've been teaching this to students for about 4.5 years now, and our students are doing amazing, as they should be. And they continue to do great, continue to grow, continue to take the course and thrive and change the legacy of their family and the impact that they're making in their families. Same thing with our contractors that we work with, actually. We're able to impact people in different ways that we've never thought about. So the cleaning business has single-handedly changed our life, and that's the hope that we have for people that take our course and is able to get it started and grow it and so on and so forth. So
yeah, taking it is one thing, but doing something with the information is another thing, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, our students, we tell the stories all the time. Our students have done over $14 million. They've done over 50,000 cleanings. They're in 40 plus states. We just had another 6-figure student in 9 months this week. This is literally like Tuesday or something, right? So people are still getting the information, going through it, and still launching. We just interviewed someone who did $300,000 by their 3rd year of their business, and that interview is going to be going live soon. So we're still impacting lives out there. So we want to make sure that we continue to still do the work on this side and give you guys a game, give you guys this week, because this has changed our lives. And the one way we can celebrate is literally online, because it's an online cleaning business. So celebrating 7 years now. It says, I live in San Diego, a city where there's a lot of undocumented people that clean. Do you advise starting my business in another city? No. Those undocumented people, I would say, are not your competition. So when we think about competition in the business, I would think about people who are being able to be found online. Think about somebody undocumented that's cleaning. I'll give you guys a prime example. One of my friends, he hired a person to clean his home. He asked me, do you think I should go with a company or a person? I was like, you're probably looking for a cheaper route. So I was like, of course the person is going to be cheaper. Let me tell you guys what happened to that person. So that person ended up stealing $1,400 from him, and then it got caught on camera, and that person was on the news, and he had to put out a APB for the news to try to help him find that person. And I sent him a text and said, I told you.
Now, not all people are like that, but
let me finish my story, because he knew. I was like, the pros and cons of hiring a person versus a cleaning company is that, number one, a person you cannot find. Once they're gone, If they're undocumented, they are gone. If your priority is looking for a cheaper route, go for it. Take the chance. Good luck. Best of luck to you. But if you're working with a company, that company has that person's ID, probably has that person's social, probably has that person's address, probably has that person's bank account information, probably can put this information with the cop, and probably has an insurance plan, probably has this. Like, there's so many layers of protection.
The liability the company would take.
Right? There's so many layers of protection that you probably have working with that you do have working with a company and an individual. I'm not telling you to compete with undocumented people that clean, because that's not your competition. And the people that are their clients are not the clients you want, because those are the people that are looking for the cheapest route. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you came from. I just know that you clean my house, whatever, at the end of the day. So if I'm starting, I am not worried about those people being my competition at all, because there are people in your city in San Diego that are thriving. And we actually had a San Diego cleaning business owner inside our community who did over $4 million. You think he's thinking about undocumented people? No, he was hiring them, making sure they got their paperwork, and then putting them on the staff, right? So that's what we need to be thinking about. You're thinking about the undocumented people that clean as your competition. You know, I mean, there's undocumented people in Texas.
I'm about to say.
There's undocumented people in New York, Mexico, right? No, that's not your competition. So
we all got places where you can drive by Home Depot and get people. We all, in every city probably, we have that. So no, that's not something that we worry about, and that's not a reason for you to start in another city.
I'm starting where I want to start. Don't let nobody push you out your city, girl. Would you move from your city because it's undocumented people? They're gonna kick you out.
How do you price the location being clean? Do you go out and see the place before giving a quote? So no, in our course we kind of give you that breakdown of how you get pricing for your area. Essentially, it's competitors research. We do have a document in there that you can click so that you can keep track of all the information that you gain from your competitors and then price that way. But essentially, bedroom, bathroom size, square footage is what I'm looking for. How many additional rooms they have, playroom, movie room, porch.
My wife said I was working out.
Basement, all those type of things they have. So that's how we would quote it. We don't go out to quote anything. Unless maybe it's like a commercial property, then we may go out depending on the size, right? So if it's a commercial that's 200 square feet, I'm not necessarily going out to quote that. But if it's 30,000 square feet, then maybe I will. So yeah, that's how we do it, and that's how we teach our students to quote in that capacity. Everything's on the website, and the information is there.
And Carlita, if you're brand new here, we teach you how to start cleaning businesses without cleaning. So, and essentially building an online or a remote cleaning business, so you don't have to go out and do the manual labor, so that you could figure it out from there. I'm in San Diego too. That's a question that crossed my mind. That's not a question I never thought about a day in my life. I'm not letting an undocumented person stop me from launching my business. Absolutely not. Y'all need to team up and build a business together. Make sure y'all join Cleaning Business University.
And subscribe to YouTube.
And subscribe to YouTube, right?
Do all the things. CleaningBusinessUniversity.com/learn. We are having our biggest sale of the year. Make sure that you tap in there to get the information that we're talking about. What other questions do you guys have on this wonderful Thanksgiving?
So think about the undocumented side. I want to go back there for a second. There's so many businesses that an undocumented person could do without any quote unquote experience. So that means that nobody's launching any of these businesses. Right. And if that's the case, you guys need to think about that. So I'm thinking about, in my mind, is like, okay, these undocumented people, there's nobody launching a lawn care business. There's nobody doing plumbing. There's nobody doing handyman. There's nobody doing. If you Google any of these services and nothing comes up, that means all the documented workers are doing it by themselves. But we know that's not the case. We know these businesses are being launched every single day. We know that there's multi-million-dollar franchises that are still popping up, right? Because they're not worried about undocumented workers.
What other questions do you guys have? Let's answer it. Let's do it.
Maybe because we live in Texas, though.
I'm about to say, we are.
I never thought about that.
Pretty close to what some people think about. We have a lot of undocumented.
And we don't hire undocumented workers
that's
either. So
that's a good thing.
we don't hire undocumented workers. You gotta have a social security number. You gotta have license. You gotta be able to be insured in your own business. You gotta be able to get a car. So
you have to have a social security number for us to do the background check. Yeah. So Bill has joined.
Bill about to get blocked.
Bill Clinton had to join the chat.
I see something like that come up. I know you spam. You about to get blocked. Say something crazy.
Okay, take it easy.
Because people bother with the fake face and the fake name. I don't like that. Like we showing our real stuff.
What other questions?
Unless that's really Bill Clinton. Shout out to you then.
Sure. What other questions do you guys have on this wonderful Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. What y'all eating today, man? What are you excited to eat? What are you thankful for? How about that? Let's do that.
I'm about to say I'm not excited to eat.
What are you thankful for?
Family, health, wealth.
All right, can we go a little more specific? It's very generic.
That's really important.
Okay.
Family, health, and wealth. What do you mean more specific? My husband, my 2 children, my mother, like that's all family. Friends, sorry. Health, definitely.
Shout out to Gary. Thankful for Gary, yo.
You know that's the same Gary.
That's Gary. Gary Henry.
Okay. Being able to show up.
Gary came to our live event, so I'm shouting him out.
Being able to show up and having our business for 7 years, that's a big deal. Helping our business get through COVID. A lot of businesses did not make it past that. So these are some things I'm thankful for, yeah.
Being able to still talk about something we started 7 years ago, and then also taking what we started and then also being able to share it. I'm thankful for that because we weren't like one of those people that's like, oh, we learned about the cleaning business, now we're going to teach you. You know, let me tell y'all a story. One of these young little Caucasian dudes, no offense, just saying he's Caucasian because we get a lot of them in our DMs, right? He was like, oh, I saw you want to start a cleaning business. You need my course? I was like, fam, you've been doing this for 2 days. Oh my God. And I got so annoyed. I just blocked him, right? But
you get annoyed.
I got so annoyed. He popped in my, because you see like, people always say these little pages like, oh yeah, they do remote cleaning business. I'm like, I do not care, guys. We've been doing this for 7 years. We've got our cleaning business. We taught thousands. That's what I've done over $14 million. Somebody asked me, what makes you different from those people? I'm like, yo, we all teach the same information, but we've been doing this now for this long, right? We've been sharing this game for this long. We got this many students. We got also this much successes. You can touch us too.
Other competitors that I've seen don't look like us.
Nobody.
Yeah, I haven't. They don't look like us. So that's another thing, and I'm happy to say that for my community that a lot of people don't look like us. But Satina said, oh, thank you, Satina. I hope I'm saying your name. Satina. I hope I'm saying it correctly, and maybe it's just a YouTube name. I really love this. I always listen to y'all at work. Congrats on the new baby. Thank you. I find y'all listen to every episode. It's good to put a face to the voices. You also can watch us on YouTube if you didn't know. We have all of our podcasts on YouTube. You just reminded us that we need to put more episodes out because we took a long pause and we're trying to get back to it. So I really appreciate you listening and tapping in today. So thankful for you guys that actually show up and kind of spread your love whenever you can and drop in and provide encouragement. So yeah, thank you.
I've been wondering sometimes, how do people even like us?
Why would you say that?
You can be too direct sometimes.
That doesn't mean you don't like somebody. That's kind of aggressive. I don't think I'm a very likable person. I understand that too. That's fine, but I am actually really friendly. Anybody that's met me knows that I'm friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
To be frank, I may come off a different way.
It's hard sometimes.
It's stern, but I'm definitely friendly. A lot of people like it. What type of comment is that?
It's not like why, but it's like sometimes you feel like sometimes I feel like I'm too direct.
Definitely, I do feel we are direct people, and that can come across mean to some people, but that's definitely not our heart or intention.
But the good thing is that we're not going to BS you. So if you send it's been a few of y'all in the comments like chatting back and forth. But as you can tell, we're the type of people that's not going to sugarcoat it, right? It's like the whole undocumented person stuff. It's like, we're not going to sit here and say, yeah, you know what? Think about that. Like, no, you need to go and get that. Like, if you want that, you need to go and get it. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody move you, right? And that's part of the New Yorker in us too. Yeah.
Lola, I hope to see you on the inside, maybe on our course in our community. I hope to see you there. cleanupbusinessuniversity.com/learn is where you can find our discounted course right now. It is the cheapest that it will be. Make sure to tap in and get your 2025 started ASAP.
I would say we're very different than the other, I probably say like other couples in like the financial quote unquote literacy space.
We're a blend.
We're a
If
blend.
you didn't know, we started on social media and really just in this space talking about our debt freedom story. That's really how people that's been following for a long time, that's really how they started to know us. And we started that journey in 2017. We started sharing that we were newlyweds in a new city. We're from Brooklyn, New York. Now been in Dallas for 8.5 years. And we paid off $114,000 of debt. And that's really how we got into this space. And then the cleaning business became a tool for us to pay off debt as well. So we started there in debt, so we spoke about that. Then we have a cleaning business, and we do still bring in lifestyle. We like to travel. We like to go to a brunch here and there. We do have 2 kids. So we're not just the typical only financial or only business. We mix it all together. And that part I do enjoy. We got one of the kiddos up
Kids up. So if you got any questions about Cleveland Business University, you know where to find us. You can always listen to us on our podcast too, More Than a Side Hustle. We recorded a couple episodes. They're in the chamber, so getting those right. I need y'all to link up and take on San Diego. Yep, and getting our courses. Yep, let's do it. It is the lowest it's ever going to be, at least currently is. So you can tap in there. And then we live tomorrow.
We are live tomorrow at 12 p.m. It's the last live. You can catch us on for this week. We got to give our voices a break. But yes, it's the last live. You can catch us on 12 p.m. tomorrow. We are back for our full week of going live on Instagram and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing so you can tap in with us. Instagram, you can just type the word or the letters BF, and you get access to purchase the course at the most discounted rate it will be. Other than that, have a lovely, lovely Thanksgiving with family and friends.
Yes.
Be merry. Sorry for Christmas, but either way, enjoy your food and drinks.
All right, guys, you have a good one.
Yeah.
Peace. Later, alligators.